Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 345. I'm so excited for this episode. I know this 12 Days of Badassery is game changing. Even if you only listen to one episode, it is gonna change your life because we don't even recognize all of the badass things we're doing. They're right in front of our face and we miss it, right? It's kind of like that highlights game or the highlights magazine where there's hidden things right in plain sight and you really got to look for it. Same with our badassery. If you're not looking for the badass things you're doing, chances are it's going unnoticed. So, this episode, we are going to talk about comfort zone and all of the times that you have stretched yourself and moved out of your comfort zone and how that's so badass. So, if you're loving these episodes, share them with a friend. Other people can get so much value from these too. If you like it, chances are the people around you, they are gonna like it too. So there's three little dots usually in the top right-hand side on your podcast app, and just click that and then it says share or copy the link and then just send it to a friend and recommend it to them. Your referrals mean the world to me because I know badasses hang out with other badasses. And so that's how we grow the show. And I appreciate you for that. Okay, with that, we're going to get to the episode.
Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to the Ordinary to Badass podcast. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I am so glad you're here. Today, we're talking about comfort zone and how that makes you badass. So sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone doesn't feel so bold. It doesn't feel so badass. It feels freaking scary. I don't know about you, but I can get terrified, like about just pushing my comfort zone, stepping out of it, and I feel weak because I'm like, oh man, this is so hard. And so we put that in our head, right? Rather than realizing, like, oh, felt scared, I felt weak, but I did it anyway. So don't undermine or underestimate the power of pushing your comfort zone, even though it feels scary, even though you might feel weak or doubt your capabilities. That does not matter. You can have the doubt and take action anyway. And that, my friend, is so badass. Having doubt, but yet having the faith that you're going to get through it anyway. Having the faith that you are a badass and you will figure it out one way or another. It doesn't even matter how it turns out. The end game really doesn't matter. It's the fact that you took the step, that you did something you weren't comfortable with, you did something that scared you. That is the badass piece. So don't focus on things where you only had successes. That's not the point here. The point is when you stretched yourself, when you did something hard, even though it didn't turn out the way you wanted to. If you have successes at the end of it, cool, but don't let the other ones stop you. So, like, example is like, I put in for a chief position somewhere, right? And I didn't get it. I failed miserably, but that's okay because I felt uncomfortable. It was hard. It stretched me. It grew me. And just the mere fact that I put in for a position that I didn't feel comfortable, I didn't know if I was capable, but I stretched myself. I put myself in the uncomfortable position. I gave myself permission to fail. It doesn't always feel good, but yet looking back, I can be proud of it. Like I did it. I tried. I tried to expand my career, right? So don't be focused on the outcome here. Really focus on the fact that you did something that terrified you or scared you or worried you or made you uncertain. And we're not talking about safety issues here, right? If something terrifies you because it's scary, because it's legitimately putting you in physical harm, not talking about that. That's not the goal. But it is to expand and grow and learn. And that to do that, oftentimes we have to push our comfort zone. So I want you to recall times where uncertainty loomed ahead or loomed in front of you, but you took action anyway. You forged ahead, even though you were uncertain of what the outcome would be. Are there times where you embraced discomfort and took decisive action? My friend, Dr. Mike Bechtel, he is a best-selling author and he's been on this podcast before. And he said, you know what? When it comes to your comfort zone, you don't have to take a running leap over your comfort zone. That's not necessary. All you got to do is just go and put your toe over the edge just a little bit. And you still feel that feeling of discomfort, or you still are expanding yourself just a little bit at a time. So when you're writing in your journal, ordinarytobadass.com/12, when you're writing in that journal, remember the times where you just barely pushed your comfort zone, because that's all it takes is barely push it, barely push it, barely push it. Just do 1% every day, right? And then the results of that are still huge. So don't underestimate the power of 1%. Don't underestimate the power of just putting your toe over the edge. Feeling that slight discomfort, that's fine too. If it comes to mind, write it down, because it's important to reflect, right? It's important to really do it, because if not, we forget these things. You want to be able to go back later when you're feeling doubt, or when it's another time to push your comfort zone, and then go back and look at what you wrote down in your journal and be like, oh yeah, I did it before. I can do it here. So if you are an introvert, maybe pushing your comfort zone looks like getting out of the house. That can be uncomfortable. Or maybe it looks like when you go to a gathering, it's the holiday season. So you go to a Christmas party, you agree to introduce yourself to one new person. It doesn't have to be huge. It can be hard. Talking to one new person can for sure be hard. But that's all you have to do. Meet one new person and you're good to go. Or you say, okay, I'm going to go to this gathering and I'm going to stay for an hour and that is it. At least you're getting out of the house. At least you're pushing your comfort zone, doing something a little bit different. As they say, like insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So if you want a different result in your life, you got to push your comfort zone a little bit. I know it's hard, but that's what makes you a badass. At work, have you ever volunteered for an assignment that made you uncomfortable, that felt like a stretch? It was a little bit hard to do, but you volunteered for it anyway. I don't care if it's because nobody else volunteered for it. That doesn't matter. It's the fact that you volunteered. Or have you ever been given a role by like a supervisor and you didn't think you could fulfill it? You didn't think you could do it because it seemed so hard, but you did it anyway. Write that down in your journal. Ordinarytobadass.com/12 to get your journal, 12 Days of Badassery, to make sure to document this, put it in writing. What have you done that made you uneasy, made you nervous, made you unsure? Can I do this? Am I enough? Will this work? Write that down, because if you did it, that is worth it. That is something you should write down, because it was badass that you took that step. So there is a misconception out there. That misconception is that life should be easy. Life is not easy. It's probably never going to be easy, right? There's certain days that might feel easy, but there are a lot of hard days too. It's important to note that if you're feeling comfortable all the time, you're probably not growing. So let's celebrate. Let's embrace those days where we are getting out of our comfort zone. And I want you to think of it like this. Not getting out of your comfort zone is like staying in the kiddie pool your whole life. It's never going to the deep end. It's saying, oh, it's safe here. I am going to stay here. That's okay. And so you never go to the deep end of the swimming pool. You're not going to experience all of the things. You're not going to be able to float on your back. I don't think I could float on my back in a kiddie pool because it's just too shallow, right? So you would never get to do that if you don't go to the deep end. You don't get to relax and enjoy the water. You don't get a full-on swim if you were to stay in the kiddie pool your whole life. So move to the deep end. And I know that you've done this. I'm just trying to come up with ideas for you, things you can write down, things that you've done where you pushed your comfort zone. I don't even care if you go back to when you were a kid. Like when I was a kid, I learned to ride a bike, and guess what? It took me like a week or two, and I fell and I fell and I fell, and my legs were bruised to high heavens. And then finally I figured out how to do it. Guess what? Doing it though, I pushed my comfort zone. But then it eventually led to a success. Again, success isn't necessary. It's the fact that you did it, the fact that you tried. So you could even write down that thing from when you were 10 years old and you learned something, or last year, last week, today, I don't care. Where did you step out of your comfort zone and do something that was hard? Make sure to write that down in your journal. So I just want you to take some time, write down all of the ways that you stepped out of your comfort zone in work, at home, in your personal life, maybe with your personal finances. And if you paid off debt, you made a change, you did something that was uncomfortable. Or your finances made you so uncomfortable, like in my case, I was in so much debt, got uncomfortable that I had to make a change. And so I did so. So write that down. Any of those things are so important. And remember, while you're documenting these things, document the ones where you took a running leap over the edge of your comfort zones and where you just dipped your toe over the edge or put your toe over the edge. Both of them are just as important. Okay, make sure you download the guide. I know I've said it a couple of times, or the journal, because the prompts will help you do this. ordinarytobadass.com/12, and we will be back tomorrow. I can't wait. With that, we'll end the show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.